Let's say some Jewish pride that the North Shore Hebrew Academy worked so hard to instill. And it was a wonderful day for North Shore, a wonderful day for you. And in many ways reflects Taly's spirit. As you see on the picture, this picture was taken in September. On Taly's 36th birthday, and Tally passed away 2 weeks later. And the significance of this picture is that she kept a smile, as we say in Eshet Chayil, "Vatischak leyom acharon." And that's the way Tally viewed life. She was a proud Jew. She was a very spiritual person. And many of you boys and girls davened for Taly's welfare all the years that she was sick. For 5. This is Taly's closest friend, who was with us at the moment that Tally passed away. And the significance about her, that her name is Tally. And she continues to call us every Friday before Shabbat, the way Tally did. And she's making it possible for Dora and me to utter the name Tally every Friday before Shabbat. Thank you, Tally, for being here. So, Tally was a very spiritual person, and this morning as I was driving in with my son Ori, we were kind of reflecting of the spirituality that Tally had left behind. Here was a library being named in her memory last week. An orchard was dedicated in Eretz Israel, her name. A Sefer Torah is being written in her name with her congregation. And boys and girls, I'm addressing you, I'm just talking out loud in front of my friends here, that this is something that we all are trying to achieve in our life, to leave a legacy of spirituality, of Ahavat Torah and Yirat Shamayim. And we approach now Chag Shavuot, and Chag Shavuot is known to be as Chag Matan Torah, and it is our obligation to turn it into Chag Kabbalat HaTorah. Matan Torah was a day when Hashem gave the Torah, but giving is only one part of the process. We have an obligation to receiving the Torah. So Tally indeed was among those who have received the Torah and translated it into a high spiritual way of life that is going to be represented here by her younger brother, Ori, who served as a spiritual source for Tally for her 5 years of illness in the family. With you, Ori, my older son, who just had his 4th, this is what I always mentioned in davening, a baby, a father of 4. He named him after my grandfather, explaining to the crowd that he's now learning the writing of my grandfather, and he finds tremendous amount of similarities between the areas of interest of my grandfather and the areas of interest of Tali Zichronah Livracha. So I'll take a moment just to thank all those who have made it possible, the lay leaders, the professionals, and the families of the North Shore Hebrew Academy. And I'm going to ask my son Ori to share with us some thoughts as the spiritual source of Tali's inspiration. Ori will represent the family. Rabbi Sanadir is also here. It will not be Monday 9 o'clock. The entire family will be here also. We'll read it.
Today is Dalet Sivan, the 4th of Sivan. We didn't say Tachnun this morning, and one of the reasons for not saying Tachnun is on the 4th of Sivan, Klal Yisrael, the Jewish people, reacted to some of the mitzvahs which were told to them by saying Naseh, not Naseh v'nishma. Naseh v'nishma they said on the 5th of Sivan. And a different parasha it's brought down, but they said Naseh. And the Chachamim explained to us why one time they said Naseh v'nishma, and another time they said just Naseh. There's a third time where they also just said Naseh, and they explain that Naseh v'nishma is when a person's talking as an individual. No individual could fulfill the entire Torah. There are mitzvahs which an individual can't fulfill. If a person's not a Kohen, he can't do the mitzvahs which are required for a Kohen to do. If a person is a guy, he can't do the mitzvahs that are for a woman to do. A woman can't do certain mitzvahs that are for a man to do. No one could do all the mitzvahs. So Naseh v'nishma is, Naseh is we will fulfill the mitzvahs which we could do, and Nishma is those which we can't do, but we'll still learn about. We'll still do what we could, have as much association as possible to those mitzvahs. That's Nishma. But today, the Jewish people didn't say Naseh v'nishma. They said Naseh. Why Naseh? The reason why they said Naseh is the words before they say Naseh. It says Vayan kol ha'am kol echad. Everyone spoke up in unison, and they said everything Hashem said Naseh. Meaning, on Dalet Sivan, we're told that they reached such feelings of unity, of hitachdut, of oneness. They viewed themselves as one larger unit, as one larger body made up of many different components. So when that larger unit was speaking, then that larger unit could say, I'll do everything. It's not I could only do some and he could do some. I could do everything. Naseh. That's why they just said Naseh and not Naseh v'nishma. And I was thinking about how both before Tali passed away and after Tali passed away, my father received a lot of consolation, a lot of nechama, a lot of comfort, a lot of chizuk from the academy, from the students, and from the teachers, and from the administration, from the board. And as a family, we're very, very appreciative to all that chizuk, all that consolation which the North Shore family has given to us, has given to my father. Just one point, one comment. When I think of a library in association to my sister, what I really think about is the following. My sister, one of her characteristics which I most admired was that she had an ability throughout to not be closed-minded, not to stick to certain assumptions which she had, and be unwilling to hear from others different ways of thinking. She was willing to hear, to listen, to broaden her horizons, broaden her heart, broaden her mind. She was always willing to do that. And a library is really a place where a person challenges himself in. He opens up books which are written by others where they might not be thinking exactly like he's thinking. They might have points to add, points of contention, and it's something which just made me think of my sister, how she constantly, whenever she came into contact with others, she would have a listening ear, and she would adjust herself to their will, or she would think about their perspective and try to absorb it and try to see how that makes sense to her. So it's my prayer that this room, this library, that whoever comes in here, that it be able to be used to help us broaden our horizons, to open up our minds and our hearts to thoughts of others, and through that to help us better serve Hashem, which is really what we're here for. Thank you.
We have two presidents now, so we're going to go in height order, because otherwise we don't know how to. We're going to ask our student council president, Mikey Gopanian, first to address our group here. You guys are doing great, by the way.
Almost.
Right, it's close. It was close. I was going to do it back to back, but it wasn't. Didn't fit the moment. Mike, if you would come forward, please. And speak. You know, Mikey's representing all of you and all the students, present, future.
I'd just like to say something very quickly about the library our school just recently founded. I remember in 7th grade when we were in the small room back there and it was freezing all the time and Miss Terry was always complaining about how hard it was. And then one day the rabbi told her, she was like, and she told us that we might have a new library. And everybody was really happy. And now we have this library to get research from, and we have two caring teachers, Miss Thierry and Miss Malin, who help us with all our projects. Whenever we need help printing things, if this is broken, we have Miss Thierry right there. And you know, this library was dedicated to Tali because she fought so hard for 5 years, and I think that all of us can learn from that. That if we really try hard, it might seem like you can't achieve such a great goal, but any one of us in this room or any one of us in this school can achieve greatness and try to, maybe even find a cure for cancer. There's chemotherapy right now, but you never know. Like, when I was in the hospital with my brother, you notice and you see how hard it is for kids, and you see how hard they try, and all of them are crying, and all they can do is give them medicine, and it's a 2-year process for my brother. And Rabbi Greenfeld's daughter took a 5-year process, and still, she fought hard, but what he wanted to come out of it and what everybody hopes for would happen didn't happen. So I just want you all to know that if you really try and if you really keep your hopes up, hopefully things will change, and hopefully you'll be able to achieve what you want.
And Mr. Kaiser, President number 2.
We picked up Tali's Sidur. We were able to show David Daltonian that his name was on the top of her list of Refuah Shelema Tehelim.
Good morning. It is my honor to be present at today's dedication of the TalyCohen Library and Technology Center at the North Shore Hebrew Academy Middle School. Today, we remember a beloved member of the North Shore family, the dear daughter of our Dean Rabbi Greenfeld and his wife, Devorah. Tali was a remarkable woman who inspired us on how she responded and answered the great challenges in her life with courage, dignity, strength, selflessness, and a deep faith in Hashem. Rabbi Lazar teaches us in Pirkei Avot, Da ma shetashav, know how to answer. Tali taught us all how to answer, and that is why it is so fitting that we name this learning center in her memory. This is a room where our ancient texts sit near modern technology, and where both these texts and technology will help you students master the skills necessary to da ma shetashav, to know how to answer the challenges that as future leaders of the Jewish world you will surely face. Thank you, Rabbi Greenfeld, Ori, and Adir for being here today. Thank you, Rabbi Coburn, for coordinating the effort to have this room built and arrange this most fitting dedication. And thank you to our past PTA presidents, Mrs. Levion and Mrs. Seton, and to Lisa Adler, the Bar Mitzvah and Bar Mitzvah Simcha Fund, which were instrumental in having this room built. Thank you so much.
class, then you're gonna go back to class. Books, I like to think of as gateways. Books are a gateway to another person's point of view, to another person's experiences, to another person's way of thinking. And you can read a blog, and you can read a post, and you can read a fortune cookie, and all those are short little tidbits. But when you read a whole book, and you dive into a whole book, you really have a new way of looking at the world. So with all the technology we have, and it's beautiful and it's a wonderful thing, we have a library here too, which was missing for many, many years. I'd like to take credit for that. I cannot take credit for that. It happened on my watch, but that doesn't mean it's because of me. Mr. Ross was instrumental in helping this get pushed through. Rabbi Greenfeld worked for years to get this project going. Without the brain power and know-how of Ms. Malin and Ms. Thierry in meeting and having conversations and talking with the technological people, how to put the computers in, how to put the books in, how to put the bookcases in, without Arnie Flato coordinating the flow of the funds, because you can have great ideas, but if you can't pay for them, it doesn't work so well. And those two ladies who came over to me at that dinner, Mrs. Sutton and Mrs. Livion, this is a dream that's realized. And then they didn't just give money and say, here, go, spend it. They came back and sat and thought about what color things should be and what kind of shows we should get and all of that. And that's fortunate for me because I have no head for that. So if it were up to me, this would be a very different looking, much uglier room. So the fact that it's not just a wonderful room to use, but a beautiful room to use is really due to their efforts and to Mrs. Adler as well, who has pictures, took pictures of me. We were here in the summer, taking this screen down from that wall and moving things around. I'm getting there.
I just need to get the
Sorry. No problem. And without Kevin's guys, he was on my list, but I didn't look at my notes. Without Kevin and his guys, we also wouldn't have a library because we wouldn't know where to put the light switches and how to move things around and the wiring and all that. We couldn't do it without a team. Correct. It would be a lot hotter in here, or a lot colder, depending on the season. We're very, very grateful to all those people coming together. If I've left anybody out, I do apologize. But you guys are the beneficiaries of all of the energies and all of the money and all of the goodwill of all these people. I'm sad that we dedicate it in memory of Tali, but I cannot think of a more fitting way to remember her. So, her neshama should have an aliyah at this point as we look forward to, Shavuot is tomorrow night, and that was the best book anybody could ever get as a gift, the Sefer Torah. And we will say Hallel, we'll say Pitkuli Sha'arei Tzedek Avolam Odeyah. The Sha'arim, the gateways are open. We are very, very, very grateful to all involved in this project. I'm going to dismiss the students now. Thank you very much for your attention. Mikey, thank you very much for your words. They were very, very inspiring. You guys are going to the end of first period classes. Guests, we have another few minutes of program, but students, you are dismissed. Thank you all very much for being here this morning.